Republicans, apparently in their quest to pitch themselves as the most insane, radical, and out of touch people on the planet when it comes to the topic of reproductive health, have a new argument, a new justification for blocking the so-called abortion pill. That we need teens to have more kids so we have more cheap workers and get more political representation. I know that seems insane, and that's because it is, but this is actually what's going on. So there's a legal filing from Republican attorneys generals Andrew Bailey of Missouri, Kris Kobach, back in the news once again, Kansas, and Raúl Labrador of Idaho. So they're trying to ban one of the most popular pills that's used for medicinal abortions. And so they were able to file a complaint on October 11th, seeking to prohibit the use of mifepristone for anyone under the age of 18 and overturn eased restrictions for the drug. And here is their argument as to why this should happen. So they show that the estimates in the filing do not show evidence of an increase in births to teenagers aged 15 to 19, even in states with long driving distances, despite the fact that women aged 15 to 19 are more responsive to driving distances to abortion facilities than older women. So basically saying, making it so that they can't get the stuff shipped to them is not that onerous because don't worry, they'll drive as far as we make them and it's totally cool. That's not even the weirdest part about this. The study thus concludes that one explanation may be that younger women are more likely to navigate online abortion finders and websites ordering mail order medication to self-manage abortion. So they're very worried about that. But here is their argument as to why the states have a vested interest in controlling this. A loss of potential population causes further injuries as well. The state's subsequent, quote, diminishment of political representation and a loss of federal funds, such as potentially losing a seat in Congress or qualifying for less federal funding if their populations are reduced or they're increased, diminished. Their literal argument is, if people can have abortions, they'll have less kids. And if they have less kids, we won't get as many Congress people and the government won't give as much money because we have less people. That is maybe true, but so beside the point to literally anything having to do with human rights. What do you think, Francesca?
Oh, I love this. Once again, this is just like, saying the quiet part out loud, just coming clean with it. That, yeah, all they want is just people to shore up the voting base. And what better way to create little Republicans than have them be born under situations of extreme duress and stress to parents who do not have the financial capability, the mental capacity, the resources to raise them properly. That is just a recipe for another Republican voter, all with their own mommy and daddy issues. So it's a beautiful, well-oiled machine. And there you go. I love that when they're honest like this. I also want to remind people two things. One, that even when you do have access to mifepristone, which is one of the drugs that they're trying to ban here from being, mailed, that sometimes, usually it can be administered and it's fine. But sometimes, as in the case of Amber Thurman in Georgia, I believe in Georgia, you need additional assistance because you might not have expelled all the fetal tissue. I mean, this is just real. And you might need actually to go to a hospital, which is why, yes, it's important. Plan C pills are great. They really are effective, especially in the early weeks of pregnancy. But that hospitals and medical workers should be there to provide this kind of abortion care. This is part of broad maternal and just regular ass health care. So I want to name that. But I also want to name that part of the way that they're trying to restrict this pill from being, distributed is through what is called the Comstock Act, which is like an act from I don't know, what was it, like the 1800s? I forgot when. Long ass time ago. And you know what it was originally designed to do? It was to prevent feminist literature from being distributed nationwide. So now they're using it to be like, we can't distribute, abortion pills. So again, this country has been after women's rights, trying to keep us as second-class citizens, and specifically trying to keep us dumb and not talking to one another and not distributing feminist literature. Things like, hey, you should have control of when you become a parent or if you become a parent, for hundreds of years. So it's very fitting that this is like part of a Trumpian and a GOP plan is to restrict access to this pill using that act.
Yeah, all good points. By the way, we've been talking about sort of the stakes in the election, and I saw someone say that John doesn't take seriously enough how bad he'd be as president. I just think, how can you think that I, of all people, don't? But anyway, this is a reminder of it. So judges matter, especially in an era where judges decide, oh, we get to unilaterally decide if medication is safe or not. You know, this medication that's been available for 20 years and is available in countries all over the world? No, I, as a non-pharmacist, have decided it's no longer safe for you. They do that now. Having a president who chooses these judges is super important. So bear that in mind. Even for things like this that don't involve legislation, it is very, very important. Okay, and by the way, another person acknowledged, like, it's ironic that they're claiming that they should be able to take away rights because they need to qualify for more government funding when Republican governors constantly turn down the funding because they don't want money going to the poors.
Exactly,
100% true.
Specifically on Medicaid and Medicaid expansion, which again, so many red states have failed to do, which deliberately and specifically help poor mothers.
Yeah,
That's who
100%.
it helps. It's just disgusting. 100%.